Good morning. Good morning. 5 a.m. It's March 25th. And today I'm going to trade exclusively only features. I'm going to trade ES and NQ, which ES is futures contracts that follow the SPY, S&P 500, and NQ follows the NASDAQ 100, the large cap stocks, or the Qs. So I'm going to just be trading those two. So I'm going to keep it really simple today. I'm not going to I'm not going to be following like 5, 6 different tickers today. I'm only going to be focusing on 2, and that's it. So very simple. I'm being very picky, and I need to start being very picky with my trade. Last night I reviewed my trade, and I added my pivot points back to review my trade. And where I took my short was a good short for a small squeeze of profit because it worked in my favor. But when I'm doing the pivot points here, these guys show me that the stock was still range bound pretty much. It definitely wasn't ready to break out based off the pivot points. And it shows some clear areas of support on the S3, S4 levels on like the 60-minute chart and 15-minute chart. So if I would have known that, I probably would have been more patient with my entry and not look for the breakdown, as a lot of fellow traders like me who were looking for that short got to squeeze out and lost some money on there. So yeah, today just gonna trade MES, which is micro futures of the S&P 500 and the Qs. So keeping it very simple, and if nothing hits my target or hits my support or resistance, I'm not going to take the trade. So I've also realized that as time has progressed in my trading career, that when there is opportunity, at this point now I'm not afraid to take a shot and go for it. But I'm beginning to realize that there's not opportunity every day during trading. There's really only opportunity, it seems like, maybe a couple days out of the month, or even less sometimes. So the market seems hot for a minute, and it only seems hot for what feels like just a couple days, maybe a week max, and then the market will go cold. And there'll be less volatility, things aren't moving as much. So when the market is hot, I tend to do really good and make really good money. And then when the market gets cold, I continue to be aggressive, and it ends up giving back all the money that I've made. So I'm just trying to figure out, my timing of when is the market going cold. And I also realize that when I am doing really good, I feel like I have the market figured out. And usually when I have that mindset, I tend to start losing money what seems like the very next day. So gotta keep these things in mind. It's all psychology based. What trading is based on people's psychology. So I can't be the only one who feels like they have it figured out during these times, and then the market goes cold. So alright, spine cues, gonna chart these guys up, find some clear areas of support and resistance here. It's Let's go to the 1 month if it will let us. Alright, 1 month chart here. So SPY. Seeing if there's any real obvious levels of support or resistance here. Seems like decent area support is 653. Area resistance that I'm drawing is 666. So let's zoom out a little bit, see what that's looking like. Let's go to the daily. So that looks good to me for a couple bounce points, or where I would like to play. Probably bring this guy down a little bit, the resistance here. Seems like we're trading in that range. It's kind of hard to see this volume by price bar. It's a rather big bar right under this yellow line. So price seems there seems to be a lot of liquidity there. So we'll see if price flirts with any of those areas on the SPY. Alright, Qs finding some resistance around 592 is what I'm seeing. Let's zoom out a little bit. Pretty much where the price is at. Yeah, 592, 591 is what I'm marking for my resistance area on Qs. And then support area 581. So on the weekly here of the Qs, it's been showing some downward slope here, some bearish price action slowly moving down. Nice long way to the upside, sold off, big red candle, volume's dying down though, slowly dying down. So markets again just kind of in this choppy range, and I'm aware of that now, so let's get rid of a couple things here. Don't need those guys. So today I might, who knows, I might not even take a trade. I'm going to be very, very picky. Okay, so focusing on ES and NQ, well, more so the micro contracts. So yesterday, first time trading futures, it's all based on price action. I had a really good scalp opportunity, but not long-term or short-term trend opportunity. So I traded the ES rather than the micro ES. So the difference between these two is per point. I believe that each point that the stock goes up or that the futures price goes up equals $50. So and then the E-mini or the micro ES, each point is instead of $50 for ES, it's $5 per point on the micro ES. So it's one contract on ES is essentially like a much bigger share size in a sense relative to MES. You take one contract here on MES, it's a tenth of the size of ES. So we're going to focus on MES and MNQ and just let those two be the two tickers that we're watching today. So 20 minutes of the open. Let's start with MES, strong support and resistance here. So any areas that are standing out to me. Let's go to that monthly chart. clear area of support here, sending out to me 6543 for the low, and area of support, resistance here 670, 6710. So let's send that to all charts here. Let's go left. Let's go left here. So daily chart, where I drew my area of resistance here. Again, hard to tell. You can see right under the shoulder is that gray bar. Barely poking out, big gray bar right here. So a lot of liquidity that occurs around this area. So in order for me to take a trade today, I need to see price play around this range. And if I'm going to take a trade today, I need to see the bar, the support and resistance that I drew. I need it to line up with the pivot point. So being very specific today, very picky. So this is MES. So we have that drawn up. So we can leave that like down, like that up here. So up here I don't have the pivot points. I don't want the pivot points on my 1 minute chart. And then down here I do have the pivot points. Instead of these being the 2 minute and the 3 minute, at least right now, I'm going to thumb through these guys on the time frames and see if there's any alignment within these pivot points. So this is the weekly chart of MES. We're below S4. It got bought up, sold off, closed below S4, and then bought up, sold off, closed below S4. And then as you can see here on this week so far, we've tested S4 and sold off. So the overall sentiment of the market seems to be weak. We keep testing this S4 on the weekly level. So my mindset is that we're going to be heading for this landslide to the short side or downside, like last week maybe, and obviously the market has said otherwise because we've just gone sideways within this range. This day right here, this kind of big red candle was the candle that had everybody in a bit of a panic. Everybody's probably shorting heavy just for the market the next day to open up way higher. So a lot of people got squeezed out on their shorts. So. But unless something changes within the I guess overall economy, then we still, the landslide, it hasn't happened yet if it's going to happen. Doesn't mean that it will happen, but based off these pivot points, we seem more bearish than bullish, but we just have to be patient. So weekly chart, S4 is definitely a clear level of where we're testing, where there's going to be liquidity. Let's go to the daily chart here. Daily chart, we're range bound between R3 and S3, or like right in the middle, so nothing really going on there in terms of the support and resistance that I drew, so let's keep thumbing through. So if we look at the 60-minute chart where I drew my box, the stock tested R3 very nicely and then rejected it and made its way downwards. So and it traversed pretty much from R3 on the 60-minute down to S3, made its way all the way down. So R3 to S3 traversed. So very common. If you were to play pivot points, R3 to S3 traverse is a very common way to play pivots. So we can see we seem to be range bound right now between this R3 and S3. So it'd be interesting to see what price action does around this R3 level on the 60. It's getting relatively close to it. We still have, let's see, 60, about 20 points away from getting there. And then, so I'm going to keep that right here from my memory. not forget about it. So to know that when we do get near this level or this little area of liquidity, to watch the price action. So. Alright, so 60 minutes there. Let's go to the 30-minute chart. Zoom in because it's really hard to tell what I'm looking at here. Okay, 30-minute chart. Getting close to R3 here, the box that we drew. Let's go to the 15. 15-minute chart, not giving me too much of a clear signal. Yes, it is R3 lines up with it. So, maybe something of interest, but again, I want to see today's pivot point line up with the box. So, gonna be patient here with that. Today's pivot point range on the 5 minutes is much tighter than yesterday's range. You can see the range is really wide here, which we would call it an inside day, meaning like price isn't probably going to move outside this entire range. When these pivot points get really tight, that's when a breakout can potentially occur. So pivots are a little bit tighter, that's on the 5 minute. 2 minute, nothing going on. 2 minute actually explain the pivot points very nicely here. R4 to S4. R3 just bounce right out, hit a couple bounce points here. So 2 minute chart, there definitely seems to be some respect of these pivot points. 1 minute chart here, nothing really going on. But again, I don't want to play pivot point unless it's near the box. So 30 minutes seems to be the closest to this R3 6730. So 60 minute here, 6730. A little bit higher than the box, about right up here. So, and then on my screen to my right, which you guys can't see, I have the 240 minute chart or the 4-hour chart. And as of right now, the price is testing S3 on the 4-hour chart. And then a clear area of support that I drew lines up to S4, so gonna leave that like that. So again, if the price isn't getting into these areas for me, I'm not gonna take any trade at all. So it's just sitting on the hands, being patient. People who make a lot of money trading don't trade that much at all. And they get real picky, and when the opportunity presents itself through years of experience, then they strike. So we need to realize that I don't have to try to make money every day. So long as if I have one day or 1 week where I just crush it, then I can make a month or a couple months of money in just a week or so potentially. So gotta be patient. Alright, and NQ, this follows the NASDAQ 100 large cap stocks or the QQQs. So let's draw this guy up. Alright. I think pretty well. Let's go to the monthly again. Alright, let's draw. Where's my rectangle? There we go. Draw support and resistance here. I think a good area of support seems to be around this 24,000 value number, 23,996, and area of resistance here, 24,764. Send that to global. Let's go to the weekly, look left. So just looking for lots of bounce points here. Price is playing around this range here. Nice test there, rejected. Played within that range here, tested, rejected. Close on the stay, right on the box, tested, test. And then on the bottom side, support test. So that looks good to me. Go to the 60 here. See what price action does around these levels. Okay, and now going down again, so now we're down to the pivot points, right? Let's start on the weekly. So on the weekly here on MNQ, we are currently above S4, whereas on ES, price was below S4. So we can see on the MNQ we're testing S3 very nicely. I don't have a box near there, so not worried about that range. But nothing's lining up for me here on the pivot points for the weekly. And then the daily here for MNQ. If we look at the daily area of support, that's standing out on S4. Clear level that lines up, so I'm gonna play, toward the support area down here. It's gonna be based off of this 60-minute chart, but nothing towards the upside. Let's see. Or wait, I'm sorry, is that the daily? That's the daily chart. Okay. Let's go to the 60 here. If we zoom out on the 60 looks nice. R3 is almost lining up with that pivot, or excuse me, with that area of resistance. And then S4 is lining up with it as well on the support side. So 60-minute chart, that's really nice for me. 30-minute charts, let's just leave that on the 60. Swing over to this chart, 30-minute chart. Pivots, R3 and the resistance side are relatively close. So we know that's a good area to be on the lookout for. So it's nice to see the box line up on these pivot points on the bigger time frames. It just gives you more confirmation of where the overall price action may bounce off of or break out of. So the smaller time frames equal smaller movements, and whereas the bigger time frames give you the bigger overall picture where price can potentially go. So it's nice to see these bigger time frames line up with some of these pivot points. 15-minute, nothing really lining up for me here. 5-minute, nothing. 2-minute, nothing. 1-minute, nothing. So 15, yeah, not really much. So 30 minutes interesting. So I'm swinging over on the other chart. I have these pivot points lined up on my 3 charts. So that's all I have right now. So let's go to MES, and we have down here the 60-minute chart, the one-shot price action within this 6689, 6712 range, and this is the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, gotta wait for the price to get up to this level. And then once the price does get to these levels, especially this R3 level, relatively close to the box. Let's see if I draw. See what that looks like. Okay. So I just drew a line on the that R3 level, and so now it's on my 1-minute chart. So if price gets up in here, it'll be interesting to see if it plays its range. Is it gonna like launch up into here, show some some liquidity going on for a potential move up or a potential move down? Is it just going to get to this level, show some exhaustion or lack of interest, move down? So we will see. I'm going to move that pivot point up a little bit, excuse me, that line, to where all those touch points were. So moving it slightly up, just based off where these candlesticks are bouncing off of. Got a couple of wicks testing that level. So liquidity zone area right up in here. I like to see price get up in this little box area and to see what the volume's telling me at that point. We can do that on MMQ as well. MMQ pretty much where the pivot point for R3 on the 60 is. That's where I want to draw as well. So, and if we go up here again, I like to see price play this zone here or test here, see what it does from there. And then outside of that, I'm not playing anything unless the price goes all the way down to 2400, which is 440 points, which to me sounds like a lot. I'm not too familiar with futures, but that's what we're looking for today now. So very picky today, guys. Very specific with what I'm looking for and what I want in terms of taking a trade. So very, very picky. But that's the point. I'm at that point where that's how I need to be. So that is the plan. Just charge the phone. And there is 2 minutes until the open. I'm going to screen record. Always record your screens. Or excuse me, record your trades. Until the open, so we'll see what the market does. Again, it's going to be very, 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 very patient. I know, Stormy. Very, very patient here. Can't take any trades unless price gets to these boxes. I should charge my watch. It's looking low on battery. Alright. Market's open. SPY is open. MES shooting up aggressively here right out the gate. There's a long way to go before I take a trade on here, so it's the only way I'm taking a trade. Two tickers, two symbols. MES and MNQ. If the price doesn't get there, don't care to trade it. Even if there's this obvious signal, you get real picky about this stuff. Because when I do see, when there is a very obvious opportunity, I tend to do really well. So, we're just gonna sit and watch and wait. And see what price does here. MNQ, the price is really respecting the S3 and the S4 pivot range on the 240-minute chart. Let's see, 24527, so up here. This is the S3 on the 240-minute chart that MNQ seems to be respecting. And playing all the way down to S4, 24119. So around, actually down here. Way down here, we can go back. So, SPY looking very bullish on this 5-minute candle here. Trying to shoot it up. So I just drew a resistance line here on MNQ. Be interesting to see price get up here. Watch what it does. If it were to, so. Very picky today, guys. Might just be sitting on my hands for an hour. Could have been sleeping, but. We're just gonna sit, wait, and watch. We're not worried about stocks. QQQ looking weak in that 5-minute. They sold off pretty aggressively. Bought up, sold off. It didn't quite test the box though. Didn't get there, so. MNQ or keys, I should say. Might just hang out within this little range, 588, 590. And then draw any support or resistance on the other stocks. Wow, SNDK. They're down 7% right now. Just look at the daily. Wow, they got down. They got down huge. Holy crap. MU as well, down 5%. If you got the shorts up here, man, he was looking good. But I'm not worried about that right now. MES looking like it's trying to work its way up. off with like a minute left. Got bought up really quickly. And then NQ. See if it's gonna grind its way up here. Much volume did as indicated, and we have lots of volume on those two stocks. Alrighty. Alright, these are pushing up here. Things are pushing up lots of volume here. 1 minute candle. Look at that. Keys is testing the box right now. Area resistance. If we go to NQ, getting very, very close to testing this S3 pivot point on the 240 minute chart. So, getting a little interesting here. Price has moved up very nicely to these levels. Q's testing that box. SPY slowly working its way up to it. Watching the price action on these guys. Let's go to NQ. NQ getting close. You see where it reached up here. There's a lot of liquidity at this level. Q's very strong here. Pulling back just a little bit on the futures here, just watching. Very picky, man. Very, very picky. As this is pulling back on the 1 minute volumes dying down significantly, so that's nice. As we pull back, we'd rather see volume diminish. So it'll be interesting to see if it's going to find some support around this general area for a bounce to the upside. 5 minute candle, pretty bearish, look at that. Yeah, 5 minute candle on the Qs. Big rejection. And Q here. This is just a 15, that's a 30. 5 minute chart on the NQs, very close to that level. Very, very close. So that's your first sign of potential weakness, right? Bottom up so low. Doesn't mean you can't squeeze through it though. Looks like it's working up to doing that. MES looking at the test here. MNQ's looking to go for it here. So let's watch this price action. I needed to test this box first though, at least. It's not even the support or this resistance. It's not even the main levels that I marked. I marked this level based off the 240 minute S3 pivot, which the price has seen respected quite often in the past 2 days, 3 days. Alright, let's see. Keys gonna break it here. Sure, around there, 24, 520. Still, there's a trend to the upside though. Making a nice little flag here, move up, or ABCD if you want to call it that. ABC, move for that break up. Probably draw a little trend line right here. And then he is waiting to see if it's going to test that level. So. Didn't quite get there just yet, so just waiting, watching. Pulling back here. 5-minute candle, we close in a minute and a half. It's looking bearish right now. You can see it's really respecting that 591 level. 15-minute candle, we closing here in a minute. It's engulfing there now, so it's rather bearish. MES moving down. Some decent volume as well. Moving down very aggressively here. This 15 minutes gonna close very bearish. Or at least shooting star just wicked out all the shorts up here on this range. Look at that 15 minute. Look at that 15 minute. Boy, that sucks. For all the people that got short. Their stop was up here, just wicked them all out. Volume is increasing as prices moving down here on MES. You can see that volume moving up as prices moving down. That's some bearish price action going on. 15-minute closed. Look at all the shorts there. price never got to the level we were looking for though, so that's okay. Might just be sitting on my hands for today, and who knows, maybe tomorrow the rest of the week. I'm being very picky now, extremely picky with my trading. I cannot keep having these wonderful runs of making money, believing I have it figured out just for the market, for me to get it all back to the market. We go to the 2 minute on MES, R4 to S4 traverse very nicely. Came right up to the R4 on 2 minute chart. Tested it, rejected it, came back, tested it again, rejected it again. It's a good short right up there. 6,680. Getting short like right up in here. $20 points to the downside, which is nice. Let's look at the 2 minute chart here. So 2 minute on MNQ. Nothing really there. Go to the 3 minute. 3 minute, nothing really lining up perfectly. Now, MES, that was perfect on the 2 minute for a pivot point play. R4. Look at that traversing down very nicely. R4 to S4 traverse would be incredible for people who got in up here. It'd be a 40-point move. That's a really big move, that's nice. That's nice. So now price for me is in no man's land. Would have been great to see it at least test that level that I marked, but no luck with that. So nothing going on. So there's some of these other tickers. SMCI went parabolic, shot up, making a nice V pattern, V-shaped pattern. That moved up very aggressively. Does SNDK already down $50 on the day, 6.8%. That's gap down a lot. I don't know if there's news or what, and you felt it as well, down 4%, $17 on the day. Amazon, nothing. AMB made a bit of that V shape, not as pronounced. There's a nice V shape pattern. Love to see that kind of pattern. Look at that R4 to S4 traverse on a 2 minute chart. Just perfect. ELTR, nothing. Nvidia, nothing. Apple, getting that sell-off going. And look at that. It's really starting to waterfall here. And look at that. MES. S, making its way to S4 so fast. Holy shoot. Look at that. Move down so fast right there. Look at those big old camels. Jeez. MNQ testing this little bottom point right here on the 2-minute chart. You can see it bounced right off of it. This is a lot of volume. Man, that was crazy. It was hauling butt. Hauling butt. MNQ rejected that S3 on 240 earlier in the day. Would have been really nice to see this price get up here and test it before the reversal down, but it is what it is with that one. MNQ testing the bottom of this pivot range it's been in. Lots of volume on that candle right there. Be interesting to see if this just bounces right here. And I think MES and MNQ just traversed so nicely R4, almost down to S4 in a matter of 10 minutes. 15 minutes, that's crazy. Crazy. Sitting on hands, guys. Sitting on hands. Nothing. Price did not get to where I was hoping for it to, and that's okay. I'm just being picky. Ultra picky. And yes, everything's moving down right now. That 15-minute confirmed it. Bought up, sold off a lot of volume. Respected that price action and shot down aggressively. Interesting there. This current area where the price is at is area of significant support. As you can see, it's finding some support around this level. You can get a double bottom here. And I think, look at that traverse R4 all the way to S4, most of the penny. And that's beautiful. Anybody who got short there, good job. Good job. That's killer. Yeah. Watching the price action here. And 3 5-minute bars just traverse that whole thing. That was cool to see. Excuse me. Don't want to take a position yet. It's enticing to take a long right here, just double bottom, see if we can maybe pull back up to 6,660. There's a lot of liquidity at that level, but I drew my lines. Wait for it to test those lines. Never got there. That's okay. And then key, I moved this one down since mine was a little bit higher than this range as well, but you can see there's a lot of liquidity around that 24,516 level. Lots of action going on there. But man, what a beautiful traverse here. Showing some buying pressure maybe. Wow, look at that volume. Holy crap. I think I got yanked down. Jeez. That was really aggressive right there. Yeah, price action looks very weak. I think tried to push up right here. I think just got yanked down. Super aggressive. Just perfect traverse, 2-minute chart here for MES. Just wonderful traverse there. Price action looks very bearish as of right now. Lots of buying at that level. Curious if the price is just gonna play this range here. says otherwise, I think we're moving. Is this that sell-off we've been wanting? It's moving fast. Let's see. Let's go to the daily spot. It's definitely not sell-off yet. I mean, we gotta lose this area of support at least. But as it moves down, I mean, it already tested a pretty significant area of support down here. Right now, man, this some heavy volume to the downside. 5 minute here. Looks like it's trying to pull back, but let's see if it just gets yanked again. R3 has to reach reverse very nicely here. This is the 5 minute. It's beautiful 5 minute. Look at that. Test the level, rejected. Really tested the level with lots of volume. Shooting star. Came back up. Rejected again. And then made that traverse R3 to S3 reach us out. So that's nice. Starting to pull back here. MAQ. It's a nice 2 minute candle, lots of volume, sold out, bought up. Closed above the S4 here. S3 low has a lot of support. On the 5 minute. Lots of volume there. Making a reverse head and shoulders. There's your shoulder, there's your head. Maybe another mini shoulder about to form. Potentially. It's looking decently strong on this pullback. Yeah, it's a nice 2 minute candle. You get 10 points. It's 4 to S3, play that little pivot. Boom, boom. It's nice. Let's see what's MU down MU. Price action looks terrible. Just looking to break this area. Google just nice reversal. This is a nice little pivot play from S4 to S3. Quick scalp. This is a nice, look at that volume on the 2 minute. Lots of volume sold up, bought up. Are we going to traverse back up? Probably not. a lot of this volume to the downside was a lot bigger volume, so it's definitely selling pressure there. The 5 minute just closed. Yeah, very nice little pivot play there. Probably won't take a trade. It's nowhere near the levels that I've marked. Don't want to force anything. Some of you are really picky. Less is more worth trading, so. Let's see. Making that reverse head and shoulders pattern right here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Be curious to see if we're going to move down here or if it's going to potentially play this little range. Look at SPY engulfing this candle as of right now, so it's looking nice to close, but more bearish than bullish there for that guy. MAQ. Got that head and shoulder pattern. Holding that S3 pivot very nicely. This is a paper trade here I'm going to take. Let's say 5 contracts. Price action's getting a little wonky. Let's see. Yeah, ping's off. Well, that looks a little better. Still seems kind of. Oh, we're good. That's good. Just watching the price here on this S3 level on the 5 minute. As of right now, it looks like it may want to lose it. It's respecting it nicely. Okay, this is a paper trade. This is not a live trade. 5 contracts on the MES. I'm long. My stop out would be below right here. And I want to see if it'll break through this little range. It's respecting this S3 pivot as of right now, but nonetheless very much range bound. So just a paper trade, this isn't live money. Stop would be at the loss of this pivot range. Excuse me, low of this little range right here. So price gets below 6638, we would be out. Fifteen-minute testing at S3 as well. So just trying something here. For whatever reason, I might try to do a limit order below my current price to see if it'll close me out. Doesn't want to. I'm trying to set a limit order down here, 6638. It says limit has the price that I'm marking to sell, but when I click sell, it'll completely close my position. So, alright, it's moving up. Holding that S3 level. Again, just paper trade here, not live. Just trying some stuff out. Price isn't near the box, so seems aggressive to the upside. That's nice. I'm gonna try this S3 reverse. R3. Excuse me, S3 to R3. Seems to be respecting that very nicely. Seeing if I put my limit order above where my entry is, and then press sell for limit order, it'll put it up there. Which is interesting. So I gotta figure that out. Because let's say I take a trade, and I want to set my stop loss down here. Well, when I do that, and then if I were to click sell right now, even though it says limit, it still won't. If I do it right now. So limit to sell one contract, if I hit it, see it closes a position right away, which I don't like. So, need to figure that out. Like why? Why is it like that? Okay, maybe stop order. Let's try that. So one contract is moving up nicely. So one contract. See, stop price is invalid. See, what is it? I want to put my stop there. Stop price is invalid. And why is that? just trying things out here. Again, this is all paper accounts, so this is the best way to try to figure things out. What if I do this smart thing or whatever? See, then it just sells a contract, even though we're up there, so. This will take forever to do. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so see, I don't know. Yeah, like parsing out into buying pressure, which is great. If this was real trade, we'd be at 116 right now. That'd be splendid. I wouldn't have been making all these partials. Would have held to the S3 level, but just trying to figure out this limit more to the downside. It's not like why can't I? It's gotta be a way. Six, 3, 8. Let's put that in there. 6, 3, 8. Stop type limit. Stop out one contract. Stop limit prices about why. Don't know. That doesn't make sense. Stop right there. The stop type is a market. I double click price. Oh wow. So now it worked? Okay, how does that happen? See, now it won't even close it. Okay, that covered it. Okay, so how do we do that? So it's on limit. One limit. Put that to stop. So stop limit. So. Gotta figure this out. Why is that? Okay, let's try that again. We figured it out somehow. So stop, limit, trigger price. Let's do that. 6638. Stop, limit, trigger price. Okay, that did it, huh? Okay, let's try that again. we're long there. If I want to set my stop loss, double click the area. Let's put that to stop. Stop time limit. Now let's actually put the price in. Six 3 8 one contract to sell. Oh, I gotta double click it. Okay, then we can bring this down to 6638. Okay, we figured it out. Okay, so then from there, let's say I want to hold this, and I wouldn't have parsed these out, I would have held to S3. Let's say about right there. We just normally double click. Should say sell though. Yeah, I don't want short. That's the thing. I don't want short. I want sell. So I have one contract left. Why can't I do a limit order to sell there? So if I do limit short right there, will that just close my one position? So now we have our target profit area set up. It's moving nicely. So real money is to be a good trade, but again this is paper trade. Just a paper account. Not the real deal. Just trying some things out here. I like to see it. So see what happens when it gets there if I don't have any position left. Okay, and then Q, wow. And then Q's traverse all the way back up. MES, trying to figure it out. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna log off and or at least shut down the stream, and I'm gonna just leave these orders up to see what happens when price gets to either one of these. So I have my stop order here, so if it gets there, it should stop me out. It gets to here, it said one contract short, but I have one contract long, so I wonder if that would nullify it and just close my position. As of right now, very aggressive pullback. And then Q made its way up. There's another 5 minute. We got a 5 minute in. Oh, look at that volume. This is interesting now. There had been some sort of news. Unless this is everybody liquidating their position for the move down. So watch this price action here. This is actually interesting. some sort of news just came out. Yeah, look at that 1 minute. What the heck? 1 minute keys didn't really do anything. That's a lot of volume. Wow, that was a ton of volume back there. I think it's going to move down. This is paper trading in. On MNQ. That was a lot of liquidity right there. So this is all paper trading, guys. This isn't the real deal. MES, see if that squeezes up. Okay, let's put a stop limit order here. Let's try that. Stop order there. 24.5 away. Okay, so there's my order to get stopped out there, so that's nice, that's cool. Alright guys, I'm running the stream. I gotta go down and make some food. Run to work today. Okay, so those are the numbers. Orders set there. Alright guys, I'm in the stream. Anybody who's in here, thanks for tuning in. And I'll be back at it again tomorrow. Peace.